I think it's perfectly possible to have part of the parliamentary process which is undertaken by those members of Parliament elected from that part of the UK which will be affected by those laws, but with the final decision being taken by Parliament as a whole. The minute you don't take decisions by Parliament as a whole, you've really undermined the basis on which that Parliament was elected. And the reason I say that is because we elect a government. Of course we elect individual MPs, but they're elected on a platform. It's understood that the government is made up from the House of Commons, from Parliament, not from outside. In the case of the US or France, and to a considerable extent in Germany as well, the executive, the cabinet, is chosen by the President or the Prime Minister, depending on which country, and can be drawn from people outside and not just inside Parliament. Our system is different. Our government is made up of those who are already inside Parliament, and we elect that government to make coherent overall decisions. You could end up, if you had English votes for English laws full stop, i.e. you could just trump them, you could end up with a government that had an overall majority in the United Kingdom but couldn't carry its own legislation on issues such as education and health, which had been devolved to the different parts of the UK, which would be a farcical situation where you had a manifesto commitment but you couldn't carry it through. Now, all of it is messy. The more you devolve, the messier it gets, the more clumsy it gets. But as I was saying earlier, politics, democracy is pretty messy. I mean, you know, it isn't a simple, rational process. And we get it right somehow, even though very often it takes us time to make those changes. And anybody who thinks you can, in the 21st century, write a constitution and it will stand, need to see the convoluted ways in which the United States have changed things from 200 years ago, not just by amendments to the Constitution, but by the use of their Supreme Court, which is used highly politically. In the debate at the moment about who replaces one of those who died on the Supreme Court and who's elected in November as president will have a major say in this, and the way in which they politicised it means that it's actually a very substantial part of the US Constitution. I don't want us to have our Supreme Court having to make rulings of that sort, and I fear that we might move down that road if we don't get this right.